We were talking today with Ralph Kerr, owner and general manager of the Genesee Rapids baseball team. Let's begin by having you tell us a little bit about the Genesee Rapids. How did the idea to have a team come about? When was this, and what were some of the beginning steps in forming the team?
Hi, John. Thanks for having me here today to talk about the Rapids. The Genesee Rapids actually came to fruition in 2013, which was a lifetime ago for you. And how that came about was my grandson, who was a student at that time at Houghton University, began to play in the summer for a summer league team called the Niagara Power, who played in the New York Collegiate Baseball League. And being his grandparents, we followed him around that summer, watching him play baseball for the Power. And about at the same time, my daughter Kim Pagula and her husband Terry gave a major gift to Houghton University to create a large sports center and a new baseball field and a renovation of the soccer field. And so I began to think, I wonder if there's a way that we could get a baseball team to come and play in Houghton in the summer and use those new facilities. So I ended up inviting people from the Houghton community to come up to the house so we could talk about that as an idea. And I kind of talked to them about what I saw the possibilities were. And somewhat to my surprise, people said, boy, that'd be a great idea. We'd really love to do that. And so people volunteered to take care of finding host families for the players to live with. Somebody said they'd be the scorekeeper. Somebody else said they would do the PA announcing, and others said they'd take part in getting the food for the players. So we ended up putting together a board of directors. We had a name the team contest, and the Genesee Rapids happened to be the winning team name. And so that's how the Rapids really came about. There were some surprises during that first year. First of all, we had to get approval from the university to use the facilities. Then there was a question because of the nature of our team being a faith-based team. There was a question about whether there were enough athletes, the baseball players, that would want to come to Houghton and play on a faith-based team. And then there was also preparing the meals and the places to stay, all that kind of stuff. But it turned out that that all came together. And so the summer of 2014 was our very first year as the Genesee Rapids.
Awesome, that sounds amazing. What are the responsibilities of the general manager of a collegiate baseball team?
Well, as I mentioned, I was sort of the founder of the team, and so I didn't have much choice but to become the general manager, and that's been a fun ride for me as well. First of all, as you can imagine, we have to hire some coaches, and then recruit the players, make sure that we have the volunteers in place, and some of the areas that I talked about, the concession stand, bus drivers. We had to recruit host families. We had to gain admission into the New York Collegiate Baseball League. That's an application process, and make sure that we could work with the teams and then negotiate the contracts with Houghton University, buy the uniforms, the equipment, bats, and catcher's gear and all that stuff, because obviously we didn't have any of that. And then work to develop a budget. How are we going to fund the team to pay the expenses? And one of the big parts of that was to obtain sponsorships, and we were able to do that, and then supervise all the personnel that are involved and oversee the day-to-day operation of the team itself. Those are kind of in a nutshell what the general manager's all about.
Awesome, it sounds like a lot to do. What baseball leagues do the Rapids play in, and what other teams are in the league, and where are the Rapids home games played?
Yeah, the Rapids home games are played on the baseball field at Houghton University, which is in Houghton, New York. We play in the New York Collegiate Baseball League. It's a league actually that's been around for over 50 years. And this coming year, 2025, the teams in the league will be the Dansville Gliders, who make their home in Dansville, the Hornell Dodgers, Hornell obviously, and then a team called the Horsehead Hitmen that play out of Horseheads. And then there is a team here in Olean, the Olean Oilers. Those teams make up, and along with the Salamanca Lizards, those teams make up the Western Division of the league. And then on the east side, the Rochester Ridgemen, who play out of Webster, New York, the Sherrill Silversmiths, the Syracuse Saltcats, and a new team this year to the league, the Watertown Rapids. Interesting, their name is the same as ours. So those are the teams that make up the league.
Awesome. Is there anything really unique about the Rapids?
Yeah, there is. There's a couple of things, as I alluded to early on. We have a mission statement, which is very different than most of the other teams, and I'll just read that. It says, to present to baseball players, coaches, and all whom they influence the challenge of adventures of living for Jesus Christ in a needy world through the game of baseball. So I mentioned at the beginning that we're a faith-based team. Not everybody that plays on the team has to be a Christian or anything like that, but they do understand that they're coming into an environment where they're expected to go to church on Sunday. And we also have a team chaplain who does a Bible study with the guys a couple of times a week. Our core values, which I think everybody can identify with, are things like integrity, service, teamwork, and excellence. I maintain that makes the Genesee Rapids a little bit different than some of the other teams.
I would agree. That sounds amazing. For your board of directors who give guidance to team operations, who are on the board exactly?
Yeah, the board represents a very group of people. There are, I'll just give you names, Ken Bates, who is actually a retired professor from Houghton University and is a co-owner along with another board member, Tom Miner of the Houghton Inn, the inn at Houghton Creek, which is a really nice facility there in Houghton. Doug Crandall, who previously was living in the area in Canandaigua. He now lives up in the Buffalo area. Dennis Stack, who also at the time was on the faculty at Houghton University. He now lives in Syracuse. Paul Mills, who is the husband of the former president of Houghton University. Ray Martell, who was a retired executive with the local railroad area. And then originally Ted Hopkins, who was a county legislator in Allegheny County, was on the board. He's since passed away, and his son, Matt Hopkins, who actually is the principal over at the Cattaraugus Allegheny BOCES in Belmont, is on our board. And then finally, my son Gordon and his wife Kim Kerr, who live in Nashville, they complete the members of the board of directors.
Sounds like a big board. For your players, how many are on the roster each year, and where do they come from?
Well, we try to recruit at least 25. This coming year, we expect we're going to have maybe 30 or 35, which is great. Over the years, the players have come from all over the United States. We've had them local boys, or men, I should say, as well as from places like Texas and California, Florida, up at the Northeast. And then over the last 2 or 3 years, we've been able to reach out internationally. This past summer, we had one player from Taiwan. We had 3 players from Australia. In the past, we've had players from Canada, from Aruba, from Puerto Rico, and it's been Japan. So it's been a fun way to really become almost like an international team for us. And I think that adds another quality to what we're trying to do.
Yeah, quite a roster. Over 10 years, there must have been several coaches involved. Who were these coaches?
Yeah, there have been several coaches. The first year when we were formed, a guy by the name of Taylor Roast was our initial coach, and he actually came back the second year as well, which was great. Bill Swanson, who is a professor over at Alfred Tech, has been with us right from the beginning. He lives in Belmont. He used to be the pitching coach, or the pitcher of record, batting practice pitcher for the Buffalo Bisons in the AAA Baseball League. And he has been one of our coaches for all 10 years, and we're really glad that he's been with us. We had Sam Bastian one year. We had Justin Thomas, a person by the name of Joe Mina was with us for a couple of years, and his assistant that year was Joe Cushel. We had Brian Hodges, who at one time played for the Houghton University team. He was a coach. We had another guy that we called Sarge Stoffer. We had Skip Sherman, who's currently the baseball coach at Genesee Community College. And then for the last 3 years, we've been really pleased to have Beach Harmon as our head coach and Josh Tu, Both of those guys are from Grace College in Indiana.
Awesome. To make a team operate like this year after year, there must have been many volunteers, right?
There's been a whole list of people that have helped us over the years. First of all, I have an assistant general manager every year, and we've had several people there: David Grove, Laura Habacher, Esther Webb, Reagan Ryan, Rachel Blue, Gabby Yonda, Sam Tu, and Jerry Harmon have included people that have worked with me there. And then we have some long-term volunteers. Our what I call chief cook or food manager is Ed Taylor, who is an employee at Houghton University, and his sister and his mother, Grandma Taylor, helped us with the lunches. People like Paul Shea, who's again a retired professor from Houghton University, has served as our team chaplain and also as a bus driver, which is a really important function. Doug Gardy, who is the chair of the communications department at Houghton University, does the PA announcing for us. He also develops all the scripts for the advertising that he reads during the games. Some of those are really funny, and I've said to him more than once that people would actually pay to come to the game just to hear his ads, because some of them are pretty humorous. Dick Harder has been our scorekeeper for 10 years and also driven the bus for us. Lynn Harder, his wife, has been our ticket salesperson and also our store manager. And then Barb Van Wicklen, who used to work for Bosie's here, actually has been our concession cashier. And her husband, John, has been an assistant in the concession stand, and their daughter, Lindley, has also worked in the concession stand as well. So there have been a ton of volunteers over the years that have taken on various responsibilities, and obviously we couldn't operate if we didn't have those people volunteering to help us.
Sounds like a great team.
Yeah.
I understand 2024 was the Rapids' 10th year anniversary. Looking back over the years, has there been any special moments or memories that you've made?
Yeah, there really has been. The very first year, which was 2014, we offered to host the All-Star game. Every year the league has that. And we were able to actually win that opportunity. And so we had the first year was also the first All-Star game that we had. And one of our guests, some of our viewers may recognize this name, Kelsey Ballerini, who is a really big star now in country music, was our special guest and did a show at halftime during that All-Star game. She obviously now is one of the big stars in country music, and we had her join us when she was basically nobody. So that certainly was a special moment. I mentioned Ted Hopkins, who was on our board of directors, and his family ended up creating the Ted Hopkins Scholarship Fund, which helps with the cost for some players that would like to come but may not be able to meet our fee, and so we're able to help with that through that scholarship fund. Over the years, we've had two of our pitchers were actually recruited and drafted by Major League Baseball. One of the boys went with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and he did get into the Single A division in Major League Baseball. And then another player was a left-handed pitcher who was drafted by the Atlanta Braves. So actually having guys off our team who were drafted by Major League Baseball obviously was a really special moment. We also started upstreaming all of our games. And so like we've had a player from Hawaii, for instance, his folks can watch the games on the stream, as can parents or grandparents or girlfriends from all over the country, all over the world as far as that goes, and see the upstream of the games. We also started the very first year what we call the Old Timers game. And we've said there that the criteria is if you've ever played baseball, you'd like to play baseball, or you're willing to make a fool of yourself, you could play on the Old Timers game. And every year we have about 20 guys and women who play on that. It's an exhibition game against the Rapids, and has become a really fun event for us. Finally, I would just mention that one of the biggest things is that we get support for each game on the home field there at Houghton University from people all over the area in that section of northern Allegheny County. We have people come from Rushford Lake, from Canandaigua, from Arcade, from other areas like that, and it becomes, people say that it's a time not only to watch baseball, but to see people that we don't see the rest of the year. So it's become a real community event, and that has made the whole operation very, very special for us.
Sounds like fun. Were there any special aspects to this anniversary season?
Yes, there were actually. We had what we called the 10th anniversary team, and we actually had fans vote on the guy that runs our website. Gave a little. We nominated 5 guys for each year, and then the fans could actually go in and vote on who they wanted to represent, like the team from 2014, 15, 16. We ended up then posting on our website, which is GeneseeRapidsBaseball.com, the people that were selected. So that was really an important thing and an interesting one as well. We also developed some Rapid swag that was special for the 10th anniversary, and people liked having that as well. It was a great year. We actually had our best year we've ever had in 10 years. We got into the finals in the Western Division, so it really made the year very, very special.
Awesome. Can you tell me about some of the players who have played for the Rapids and what they're doing now?
Yeah, that's really interesting. Obviously, when you begin to talk about 2014, a lot of life has passed for some of those guys. So several of them, I'm still friends with them on Facebook, and some of them have gotten married. Some of them have children of their own. And it's just been fun to see them develop in that way. We also have some interesting career events that have happened. One guy that played for us early on got his doctorate in physical therapy and is currently in practice in Jamestown, New York. He came home to Jamestown to do that, which was really great. One of the players, who was probably one of our very, very best players, is currently in the Coast Guard. He's married but serving in the Coast Guard. One of our former players is now a college coach himself. And last year we had the very much fun time of having one of his players come and play with the Rapids, and that was special because he actually stayed with the same host family that his coach had stayed with 7 or 8 years ago. So that really made it special. Then, as I mentioned, a couple of the guys were drafted by Major League Baseball. One of them is currently in real estate and doing really well there. The other young man runs a baseball training facility in the Rochester area. Many of them are continuing their education, and one of the boys who actually played for us for 2 years is coming back this year for the very first time as our head coach. So that'll be a really special arrangement as well. And then finally, I have to mention my grandson that I mentioned right at the beginning, who's sort of the catalyst for this whole thing. He's currently living in Nashville and is in the financial advising business. And I mentioned some of the guys have kids of their own. He happens to have 3, which makes me a great grandpa 3 times in his family. And so those are some of the situations that the players are now in. And it's great to know that we had an opportunity to feed into the life of those guys, not only as baseball players, but as people as well.
Sounds amazing. You informed that the board last year that 2024 would be your last season as a general manager. What has happened as a result of that decision, and will the Rapids be continuing?
Well, that's a really good question, and I'm so excited to tell you that yes, the Rapids will be continuing. I did share with the board actually 2 years ago that I was beginning to think that I needed to pass the mantle on to somebody else. And so this past year, when I told the board that this past summer was going to be my last one, they did sort of going back to the original focus and had some people come together and talk about the future. And there was overwhelming support, which was so good to hear and see that we needed to continue the Rapids. And so since then, A person has stepped up by the name of Tom Kettlecamp, who's going to be the new general manager. Several people have stepped up to fill all those positions that I've mentioned earlier. Some of the people that have been with us for 10 years decided that if the general manager was going to retire, they needed to retire as well, which they've done. But so far, we've been able to fill all of those spots. And so we're looking forward to fielding a team again at Houghton University in 2025.
Awesome. Sounds amazing. And for our last bit today, is there any comments or anything that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to say again that it's been great over the years to have an opportunity to bring about 300 young men to the Houghton area. Obviously, that's not a place that many young men would choose to come, particularly to play summer baseball without the invitation. We think that we've been able to make an impact as far as the boys learning more about baseball, going back to their college teams, hopefully as a better baseball player. That's been really important. But more importantly than all of that, we've had an opportunity to impact the lives of the young men that have come, not only through baseball, but also equally as important for me, the fact that we do have the boys go to church. They've been exposed to the gospel of Jesus Christ regularly at the church. Paul Shea, who's been our chaplain, has done a great job with the weekly Bible studies. And we know that the young men have had an opportunity that are Christians to become more vital in their faith. And in some cases, young men that didn't know Christ have had an opportunity to come to know him. In fact, last summer we had a really special event. I own a cottage on Rushford Lake, and two of the boys asked to be baptized. And so at the end of the season, the chaplain brought them over, and the team actually came voluntarily to watch them be baptized. So again, it's been a great opportunity for us, and I'm so pleased that the Genesee Rapids will continue to be part of the excitement of summers in Houghton, New York.
Awesome. Thank you, Ralph, for being here today. We hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, John. It's been my pleasure. I appreciate you talking me through this, and I appreciate the great work that the students are doing here at the Cattaraugus Allegheny BOCES.